Amazon is now hiring near you. We're looking for team members who know that delivering important packages is important work. Ready to work hard to make someone's every day? Ready for benefits and flexible shifts? Immediate hourly roles are available at amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you registered to vote? Find out how at vote411.org. Don't miss the deadline. Every state is different. Plan to vote on November 3rd or by your state's deadline if you're voting by mail. Vote. Make it count. Go to vote411.org.
Football Monday on the Sports Junkies is driven by your local D.C. area Acura dealers.
Welcome back. It is a Football Monday on the Junkies as we come to you live on 106.7 The Fan and NBC Sports Washington. We're presented by Crop Metcalf, official heating and cooling company of the Junkies. You looking to be their next 5-star HVAC technician or plumber? Visit cropmetcalf.com to join their team. It's Bish Cakes, EB, and JP. That's the foursome. And join us right now on the Mattress Warehouse hotline. So, pal, Chris Russell, Washington football team insider for 106.7 The Fan. And, Chris, I spoke to you yesterday right around 11:30 on the Washington football pregame show. And at the time, it was more about the drama off the field than the matchup between the Rams and the Washington football team. And there's certainly still plenty of drama to talk about off the field. But let's talk about what we saw on the field. Wasn't this supposed to be a matchup which was somewhat favorable for the Washington football team?
I don't know why you would think that.
First of all, good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, JP. Maybe I was a little more confident than I should have been yesterday morning that this game would be closer. And I was thinking, hey, if Kyle Allen's mobility, which I harped on all week, and I know you guys touched on earlier in the show. I was just listening back on radio.com because you could do that on the rewind feature.
Nice plug.
There you go. Ding, ding. CK should send me a little extra bonus check in the mail. But yeah, listen, I thought because of that, and I thought because he'd be a little bit more proficient running this offense, I thought the game would be closer, right? I looked at the Rams, and I said, this isn't a team that has, like, explosive talent. I know Robert Woods had the 56-yarder, but that's a coverage bust. That's Landon Collins and Kendall Fuller on a coverage bust. They don't have explosive talent. You know what I wasn't counting on? Gerald Everett, number 3 tight end, having 90 passing yards on 4 targets. That's what I wasn't counting on. Some backup inside linebacker having his first 3 career sacks. His first 3 career sacks in a 20-game career. That's what I wasn't counting on, and so that's why it looked, really bad. I mean, it was one of the most atrocious performances overall that I've seen. There was a little spark of life on that Kyle Allen touchdown drive and run. They hung around, I guess, at times, but the defense bad, the offense atrocious. Some of the coaching decisions from I'm still scratching my head where the run game was. Only this team could find a way to ruin a moment so awesome as Alex Smith's return. Only this team and only this organization.
I thought it was incredible that he was in the game because I said it at the top of the show. I would have bet my entire 401k 2 years ago after seeing that
That's
horrific
a grand fortune
injury.
there, Jason. That's a grand fortune, man.
I'm just saying I would have been dirt poor because I could not believe that he was out there playing. But every time he dropped back, I will say, the first play was fine, but every time he dropped back, I cringed. Mm-hmm. And they kept showing footage, clips of his wife, and she can hardly watch. And I felt this exact same way because I thought it just takes one low hit. And, maybe he doesn't re-break it, but he could have been out again. So that's the way I felt.
And it doesn't even take necessarily one low hit. I mean, we saw what happened with Dak, right? Now he's running and compound fracture of his ankle lower leg. I mean, God knows how bad that ultimately is going to be, if they deal with some of the same infection problems as Alex. We know, again, compound fracture is really bad. That means the bone broke through the skin. But, again, to your point, I think it was EB that said it earlier. Steele, I don't so much worry about the leg, but I mean, to any quarterback, right? You worry about the ankle, the foot, the lower leg snapping, especially when Aaron Donald hops on your back and basically, goes cannonball style and drives you into the ground on your third snap. Here's what I didn't understand, guys, and maybe you guys have talked about this. I haven't listened to the whole show. I don't get this. From the time Alex Smith came in at the 2-minute warning, and remember, they had all 3 timeouts and didn't use one until like the 41-second mark of that second quarter. They called 23 passing plays and called 5 running plays against a team averaging 5 yards allowed per rush coming in, and a team that has been really bad for the last couple of years defending the run in Los Angeles. Why? Because they shoot gaps and they get up the field and they try and create havoc, and they don't care about stopping the run. And Washington ran the ball naturally 12 times in this game and 5 times from the time Alex Smith came in. I didn't understand that at all. I'm sorry if the math I know the game was somewhat lopsided. It wasn't lopsided at
10.
halftime.
You're right. They should have run the ball more. Now let's rewind, because when also I do want to talk about some of the off-the-field stuff and fill us in on what you had been hearing from some of your sources. Jason Lockenfora broke the story yesterday that the Washington football team is looking to trade Haskins. What were you hearing?
Right. So, I think, there's been a lot of, obviously, speculation and a lot of people kind of offering their opinion. And some had said, it wasn't like anything hardcore concrete. Like, some have said, the trade deadline coming up, they're going to try and get rid of him. Okay, that's good speculation, right? It's a little bit reckless for me to go with that at this time in my life. I don't need that aggravation, to be honest with you. So, you don't say that type of stuff, or at least I didn't. And that was my choice. So, whatever. But then when you put 2 and 2 together with Lockenfora and what he's reporting, you have that. Now, what I would say is, people believe around the NFL that Dwayne Haskins can be had for basically dirt cheap. Now, what is dirt cheap? 6th-round pick, conditional, 5th-round pick. Remember, Josh Rosen got a late 2nd-round pick a year and a half ago in the draft after they took Kyler Murray. There's no chance they're getting a late 2nd-round pick for Dwayne Haskins. No chance.
Impossible.
So if Washington looks around and says, okay, look, we could get a conditional 5th-round pick, let's just call it that, maybe we pull the trigger. But if not, maybe with this circus show that we have going on at quarterback right now, Dwayne Haskins somehow finds himself back in and really takes this seriously and really works hard and reclaims his career. And we have a chance the last 3, 4, 5 games to put some good tape on him, so maybe they hold back and they wait and they see if they can try and up that to a conditional 3rd-round pick in the offseason. We don't know how these things are going to work out, and that's why I want to be really, really careful here. I mean, JLC can report whatever he wants to report. I think we've all heard some of the same things. The bottom line is what we don't know is, A, what's being offered, B, how many teams are involved, and C, do they sit there and try and up the ante a little bit?
I'm sorry, Cakes. What John Keim just said was nobody's calling.
Well, and that's part of the problem. And now I hadn't heard specifically that, but it was more like a desire from the team to potentially explore ending this so that they're not dealing with this circus and this drama. Again, that doesn't mean it doesn't take 2 to tango. Of course it does. And that's part of the problem. And that's why I always thought it would be during the off season when teams have a chance to kind of sit around and evaluate. Because if you think about it, EB, if you're a team that had a high grade on Dwayne, we don't even know what Carolina had on Dwayne, right? My guess is it wasn't a very good grade. Maybe it was a 2nd-round grade, maybe it was a 3rd-round grade, who knows? With his reputation right now around the NFL, I find it hard-pressed to think that there's more than 1 or 2 teams tops that would even be interested in him, never mind willing to take him on midway through the season and pay him whatever his contract is that the Washington football team wouldn't have to pay, and I haven't figured all that out, but then start to work on developing him and knowing, quite honestly, what everyone around the NFL has known for a long time is that he's not a hard worker and he's immature. And I know that's rough, and I know that's harsh, and I don't know the kid as well as I'd like to know the kid, part of, the issues here. But that's the book on him by many, many, many different people. And that extends to the entire NFL. That isn't here. That isn't radio. That isn't media in D.C. looking for a salacious story. That is the book on him, and everyone knows it, period.
Joined by Chris Russell, also known as the Rooster, Washington football team insider for 106.7 The Fan. Do you see the possibility of the team bringing in a couple of free agent quarterbacks this week just to see what's out there, to see if they need to add to that mix with Allen and with Smith? I just don't see Haskins playing for this team again. I think those bridges are burned.
Yeah, I don't think so, Cakes, but I can't rule it out. I mean, don't forget you have Montez on the practice squad. Not that he's going to be anything great, but I mean, you have him. He's been in the system now for a couple of months, obviously, so he should, when you see, this is always my argument, and this was my argument back in 2017 with Kirk and Colt only on the active roster. And then even with Alex and Colt in 2018 when Alex got hurt. How can you only have two quarterbacks in the building, right? They need to know the system. This isn't an offensive guard that you can plug and play. So when we're talking about bringing in a quarterback, yeah, it's great. And maybe they work somebody out. Maybe they like somebody better than Montez. Well, now they've got to spend the next month teaching the kid the terminology in the system before he can even practice at an efficient level, never mind play. So I would say no, but I can't rule it out. Here's the bottom line. I think they go back to Kyle Allen this week, who was indeed cleared to return for the second half. Ron said he didn't want him to take any shots. I think Ron gets himself. Here's one thing that I wanted to bring up with you guys. I don't know if you guys agree. I think Ron benefited from a somewhat soft and understanding media in Charlotte, number one. And number two, I think all NFL head coaches get themselves in trouble by the amount of times that they have to speak, and they don't remember, I said this on Monday, and I said it this way, and it's now being interpreted this way. I better spin the message a different way on Wednesday. And then they start getting caught up in this laundry cycle of what I said, what I didn't said, what I meant, what I didn't meant, and it's already happening through 5 weeks. I mean, you guys are doing it. I'm doing it. All the reporters are doing it. Everybody's kind of, wait, Ron said this here, and Ron's doing this, but why is Ron not protecting Alex here, but he's protecting Kyle Allen? I mean, some of the messages are really screwed up, and I don't know if it was that way in Carolina. My sense is that it wasn't that way in Carolina, and Ron is figuring out, oh, crap, this is a way different market, and this is a way different media group and fan pressure group than it was in Charlotte.
I mean, Alex looked really slow yesterday. Now, he was having about 1.6 seconds to drop back before he was getting
2.23 seconds is actually the time to throw per GSI, per next-gen stats.
It seemed pretty quick.
Yeah.
But think about it. I mean, you're dangerously close, and I say that because I just don't know if he's physically ready to go. He's just very slow. But you're really close to Alex Smith being your starting quarterback because Allen likes to run.
Yep.
He took a couple big shots yesterday.
Yep.
It just takes one bad concussion. And then Alex Smith, I would assume, is your number one because I can't imagine they're going back to Dwayne. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think Alex.
You think they'll bring in somebody?
Well, look, if again Kyle Allen is knocked out for any long period of time, then you would have to, I would think, unless you're.
Don't they have a practice squad guy?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Montez,
and that's the reason why, to Kate's question, I don't think they just bring in a quarterback off the street because you got to teach them the system, unless it's somebody that's
I told Cakes that. He doesn't think the system's hard to learn.
I would tell you this. From talking to people that know NFL offenses and know this system, it's not hard to learn compared to Jay's. And that's to their benefit, right? It's a number tag system. It's hard to explain on the radio, but it's a number tag system. It's pretty easy to learn. But it's still, you cannot walk in off the street on Tuesday as a quarterback. And not to mention all of these COVID protocols is what he wanted to say. They had to cancel workouts last week. They had kids in town, and they had to cancel it because they were worried about COVID spreading throughout. They have a quarterback with antibodies. We can't figure out which quarterback it is. That means they had the virus or some sort of the virus at some point. Who knows? I mean, this is a whole mess. Here's the bottom line, guys. They're going to go back to Kyle Allen this week unless something happens today in terms of a setback for Kyle Allen. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best move because you guys mentioned it. Alex